Alright, I'm going to get into it. So, the first fly that I'm tying tonight is Shoemaker Shimmering Minnow. And it doesn't matter what he says, this is the right way to tie it. I'm not fishing with him next week. I'm turkey hunting, so I can't get in too much trouble, right?
You can get banned.
From our boat?
Jim Bensinger, damn. Did he just say trim his beard?
Alright, I don't want to hear it, Patrick.
He needs an eraser. Yeah, you can't.
No, I'm not. Yeah. Alright. So I'm starting out with a Flyman 15mm shank and the new Nor-vise shank jaws. Which Little Birdie told me that as soon as some parts come back from the heat treater, we may have some more of them, and I'd say about the next week and a half or so.
Surely what I'm hoping. Jim Benson, you have no idea what you signed up for.
No, bring it. So, and well, I used black thread because I was still set up for doing a swinging D. See, first thing I did, I messed it up.
Well, do it right.
Yeah.
How about the Magnum hubs? On their way.
So, we haven't mentioned it yet. As far as the giveaway for tonight, it's going to be trivia again. So feel free to share it to your own personal page if you want to, but the bunch of shares is not going to enter you into the giveaway.
And who is our sponsor this week?
Our sponsor is Susquehanna River Guides. So it's Brian Shoemaker, who we've been joking around about, and the guy that designed the first fly that I'm tying. So it's who my dad and I were fishing with last week, and who my dad fished with yesterday. And Dad said last week he had his best day of smallmouth fishing ever, and now he has a new best day of smallmouth fishing ever. So if you want to get on the water with someone who knows what they're doing in Central PA, give Brian a call. His phone number is 717-574-5338, or you can reach him on his website, susqriverguides.com, and his Facebook and Instagram are... Brian says eyes are watching.
He said eyes are watching.
Yeah, and it's Susquehanna River Guides on Facebook or Instagram.
Okay, and somebody asked what thread you're using.
This is Vivas 6-Op.
It is Vivas 6-Op, Ultra Thread or Power Thread or whatever they call it.
Yeah. I had to feel the texture, make sure it wasn't Semperfli. So, 15mm shank to start. Then for the tail, I'm going to use white marabou. So for marabou, I prefer the Fish Hunter Spay marabou, just because I know most of the feathers in the pack are going to be good feathers, as opposed to some of the other companies right now where you get a pack of feathers and you're wondering what you paid for. So Nature Spirits quality seems to be pretty high right now compared to some of their competitors. So I'll strip some off the quill, because I only need this for the tail. You're tying the tail in just like you would a bugger or anything else. So, and I'll do it about an inch and a half or so off the back of the shank, down.
There you
go. I hit the camera, didn't I?
I didn't hit the camera, so I'm just sitting over here chilling. This is great. This is like the most relaxed I've been on a
live
Sunday
ever.
Live.
Yeah,
this is perfect.
So then for the body, it's going to be Wapsi medium Palmer chenille.
Hold that up again. It was behind the wing. There you go.
Well, it looks clear on our camera, so we'll see how good it looks on Facebook. And what I'll do is, one of the benefits of the vise is you don't have to, most of the time, cut the material off. I'll go and leave a bunch of this in the bag and just kind of let it hang like that. So you want the Palmer chenille only comes off of one side, and that's kind of key for the pattern to be able to do what we want to do with it. So you want that one side facing back. So it's similar to like Chocolate's filler flash, but the filler flash comes off of both sides, and it doesn't wrap around the hook nearly as clean. So I'll tie it in, go to the front of the hook, the shank, put a half hitch in, and go on the bobbin cradle. And then what I'll do is, this thing will like to twist on you when you're spinning it. So I'll hold it tight, and I'll use my finger to kind of guide it and make sure it's pointed back.
Apparently you messed up already.
According to Brian.
Yeah, there's supposed to be flash in the tail.
The whole fly is flash. I don't need flash in the tail.
I'll take that slick purple vise over your left shoulder. www.nor-vise.com. There's a whole bunch of them up there for sale.
So, bring it all the way, wrap it all the way to the front. Come off the bobbin cradle. I'll do 3 behind. 3 in front. And then I can clip it off. So I'll build a little bit of a head here. Whip finish. And cut my thread. And I'll put... So you can leave it in all white. You can do it in pretty much any color that you want. To get a two-tone color, I'm going to use a blue prism marker. Wrong end.
Why are you using blue?
I like blue.
Okay.
It's one of Shoemaker's favorite colors when he does this is blue.
Okay.
The guy that's been fishing the rivers for 30 years likes blue, so I'm going to trust him.
Okay. I just asked.
Ed really likes blue too. And blue was the first marker that I grabbed out of the bin.
Oh, man.
So there's our tail section. Swap out to the my Magnum hub and saltwater jaws.
Ooh, look how fast that was.
88 out the gate.
88 out the gate.
So the hook on this one, size 4 B10S. Or you can use a size 2 Firehole 811. They work out about the same.
Which hook was that?
Size 4 B10S.
Okay. I thought you were tying those on that Arex, that TP hook.
You can, but for the sake of tying it on camera in front of everyone, since I have the hook that Brian says to use, I figured I would use the hook that Brian says to use.
Okay.
So for the connection, I'm going to take a Flyman 25mm shank, and I'm going to cut it down. So when you buy the fish spine kits, you get 10, 15, 20, and 25. For the most part, you don't use a lot of the 25s. So I'm going to go about 2/3 of the way up and just cut it off. Now I've put my my tail on it already. The B10S with the curve of the hook, where it starts to bend, you can go and put that right there, and it'll go and kind of line up with everything. So, and I'll tie that on for this fly right on top of the shank. Now watch, where I cut that with the wire is really sharp. Where I cut the shank with the wire cutters. So what I do is I'll come in with a little bit of the bone dry. Just put a drop of it right on top of there. Hit it with the UV light. That is UV thread. Wow. And then I'll put a thread base down over top of it. And what that bone dry does is it just puts a little bit over the sharp edge, and then I can cover the whole thing with thread, so I'm not worried about cutting my thread off on that anymore. So go back to the back of the hook, about right in line with the point of the hook, and you're going to tie your medium palmer chenille back in. Up to the eye of the hook, put a half hitch in it on your bobbin cradle, and then spinning, keeping the palmer chenille pointed back and spinning the vise.
Are you wrapping that over top of the shank, like the connection shank
Yep.
and the hook? Okay.
Everything. And just work your way up the fly. If I remember correctly, Brian said it's about 8 inches of palmer chenille to a fly. 3 inches on the rear connection and about 5 inches on the front connection. I mean, on the front hook. And I'll take it all the way up to the front of the hook. This has a really thin core, so it's not like you're dealing with wire or anything like that. I don't have to give myself extra space for the head. 3 behind. Pull it all back, do 3 in front. Maybe a couple more than 3. So now I'll just pull everything back and build myself a little head here. Whip finish it. And I'll cut it off. Now I'll come back in with my marker. I don't have any blue ones in the box either because the blue marker's here. So we've got chartreuse ones, we've got all white ones.
Ben Cleveland says looking good.
Cool. Alright, so now Solar is thick. Apparently we haven't used this yet because it didn't have any of the tips or anything on it.
No, I haven't used it yet.
So
I use the bone dry all the time. That's the one.
Just use it instead of head cement. Yeah. So I'm going to put a size 5 Flyman fish mask on here. And I don't really have a lot for it to sit on. So I'm going to throw some Solres thick on here and build up a little head, kind of like you would like an epoxy head. And just put a couple globs on there. Oops.
You got to punch a hole in it?
I don't think so. No, it's just thick and never been used before. It's...
Oh, Ben has to get a hold of Casey to get a spot to do a live.
Oh yeah, he's home now. He can. So, and I'll spin my vise a little bit, and I'll let that all kind of even out. May have used a little too much.
If you drop that on my granite base, you and me are going to have a problem.
It's UV. I clean it off before it hardens. That's pretty round. So then I'll get ready with my UV light. Mask on and hit it with the light. And then just for safety's sake, a little bit of a thread dam in front of it. And I mean, this fly, I don't know how many different species of fish have been caught on it. I know we've caught a lot. Smallmouth, striper, crappie, steelhead. Pretty much anything. It's a perfect little bait fish imitation.
I know Brian was keeping track of the different species that had been caught, and he was like, yeah, it was whatever number it was, and I said, well, you can add steelhead to that.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, cool, I didn't know you caught steelhead, so, but I don't remember what the number was that he said, but it was pretty high, I know that.
So it's a perfect little quick to tie bait fish imitation. And I'm not going to go and put any eyes on it right now because eyes are a pain, and if I'm going to mess anything up on the live, it's going to be that. But
I think you should put eyes on it.
No, because you want to laugh at me. You don't put eyes on yours on a live.
Yeah, I do. Yeah,
So,
I think you should put eyes on it.
And it'll swim, and it'll kick, and everything else. It'll be great.
This would work great for speckled trout, upsized a little. Can you tie it bigger?
You can. So, there's small, medium, and large of the Palmer chenille. So that's tied with medium. You could tie it on a large. You could tie it on a size, probably one hook on the large. And you could still use a 15 or maybe 20 millimeter shank for the tail. They make a product called Baitfish Emulator, which is similar, which is even bigger than that. And you could use it doing the same concept. So either way, it's just a nice little quick, easy bait fish pattern. So that works great with the spinning function of the vise.
So everybody wants to know why you're not putting eyes on it, and the live is the time to do it. And Britt said you're a chicken, and Brian Shoemaker said, where are the eyes? And so, yeah, you better put...
I better put eyes on it.
Put eyes on it, yeah.
I guess I got to get eyes out, because
then,
I don't have eyes out for it.
People have commented, but somebody asked what is the brand, the company that makes the fish masks?
Flyman.
Hold the pack up again so they can see it.
Where'd I put it? There it is. So there's that. Alright.
we want the eyes, or put your dad back on.
Alright, well, while you're laughing, can you go get me the Solarez fin? Because you don't have any out here.
There's that. That's what I use.
Yeah, and then that gets all over them and makes them cloudy. Are these for sale? His man card is at risk from Patrick Robinson.
Why? Because you didn't put eyes on it?
Jim Benzinger, that's one of those cave-dwelling blind fish.
Uh-huh.
Alright, guys.
Uh-huh. See? You should have just put the eyes on.
No, it's because it's me. It's because they've been waiting for over a year to do this and light me up. It's because it's me. Oh, I took it home.
Well, I guess you're using the...
Bone dry disc. So one of the benefits of the fish masks is they're clear. So the UV light will go right through them and cure it. So I'm using the Flyman 5mm Living Eyes in ice.
Yeah, everybody, did you notice that? He's got me looking for material, and he goes, oh, yeah, I took it home. That happens all the time.
So I'll dab a little bit of bone dry right there on the eye socket. And then I'll go and I'll push it down. And what happens is the Solarez will come up and around and encase the edges of the eye. Hit it with the light. She's smoking.
Oh, Joe Bragg's on. What's up, Joe?
And that will help keep the eyes on. I've got a lot of these without eyes because they just end up falling off and you fish them anyway. And you don't have to worry about getting super glue all over your fingers when you do it like this. There. It's got eyes. It's not blind anymore. It's not a cave-dwelling fish. You wouldn't catch so much shit if you tied live more. From Brittany.
Oh, well, it's true.
Somebody's got to run the camera for him.
I got this under control.
Yeah, who set it up?
I got it under control.
Okay, and who made everything was right? Made sure everything was right before he started tying.
Sean came on. He's late.
Okay. Damn it, Sean. So, but yeah, Shoemaker, Shimmering Minnow. Apparently, they're supposed to be flash in the tail, even though the entire fly is flash. I'll get in trouble for that one.
Go. He said. Ben Cleveland said, "Go back over the eyes with the thin and hit it again, and they'll be bulletproof."
Okay. Well, when I bring the thin here from my house, which I'm going to get in trouble for too, I will do that. So.
All right. So now they're being nice to you. They're saying, "Nice tie, Tyler. Hey, it looks good with the eyes on it." Yep.
I'm going to catch a bunch of fish on it too.
Britt Davenport. Sean must not have got the invite. So what?
Big camera.
If that rear section was a hook, would you use that same connection?
Yeah.
You would?
Yeah,
okay.
Absolutely. So I may, if I was going a hook to a shank, yeah. If I was doing like a hook to a hook, I wouldn't. I would use wire in between, or I would add an articulated section in it. So Schultz with his Swingin' D 2.0, originally it was a hook to wire with a bead to a hook. Now he does a middle section, which is just wrapped hen, and then does that connection to the front. So
Shoemaker gave you a C+ on it. C+, missed a few steps. This is great. Oh, I love it.
Hey, it's better than the commercial ones, so.
Yes. It'll fish.
Yeah, the tail wiggles on this one. Those commercial ones, I don't know. I'll go get in trouble for that. All right, so I guess it's trivia question time.
It is, and we're doing, like we said, Susquehanna River Guides are our sponsor, and we're giving away 3 of the gray Nor-vise t-shirts, and it will
Sure,
be...
you don't want to do black or white this week, because we gave away gray last time.
All right, so we'll do...
Your choice, black, gray, or white.
My choice?
No, their choice.
Oh, okay.
Let the people choose what they want if they win.
Message us real quick, black, gray, or white. Tell us what color you want to do.
So,
And-
what areas can the fly be used and what will it catch? It can be used for anywhere where you can fish streamers for fish, and anywhere where they're going to eat a bait fish that size. So, saltwater, freshwater, brackish, whatever. I've swam it in all 3. So, with ponds, lakes, rivers, ocean, anywhere where they're going to eat a 3-inch long bait fish. We got one answer in, and it says white.
One answer, yeah. One answer for white. All right, so it looks like we're giving away white t-shirts this time.
All right, white works. So, all right. Our trivia question tonight is, what is the...
Tell them they got to answer on this.
All right, you got to answer on here. So, we will go through the comments later and determine who the winners are, because sometimes your comments pop up on our phones, sometimes they don't. Facebook still isn't great with that. So go ahead and write your comment in, enter it on here, and then after we see a handful of the answer coming up, we'll go and we'll move on from there. So
everybody get your Google fired up.
All right.
Here it comes.
According to the United States Fish and Wildlife Service, what is the oldest recorded smallmouth bass?
It's pretty old.
Yeah, the lives are going to drop off real quick while people exit on their phones and go to Google it.
It's pretty old. D is on from the boot camp.
Oh yeah, I saw that she said hi. Hit it. Jim goes pineapple.
Pineapple. The hell?
Maybe his autocorrect's mixed up. Maybe he got into that some of that really good bourbon. Yeah, we're starting to get some answers.
Yeah, I don't even know what the answer is, so... Years. Yeah.
Yeah.
Old.
Consider that in our area, a 18-inch smallmouth is anywhere between 8 to 10 years old.
Well, Shoemaker and I were talking about that, and he said they're older than that.
They're older than that here? We've got slower growing?
He said yesterday, a 20-inch smallmouth on the Susquehanna is 15 years old. That's what he said yesterday.
Okay. All right, we've got a bunch of them coming in. 26 years old.
26 years old.
26 years old. That's great. I'm 27. The oldest smallmouth was only a year older than me. A year younger than me.
I hope it was smarter than you.
You wouldn't be able to get it to bite.
Oh, okay. You can see some pictures? 26.
Hey,
yep,
out of the two of us, only one has caught a 15-year-old fish in the past 2 weeks, so...
26 years old at Rainy Lake. Yep, there a lot of people went to Google.
I don't know who Dave Blaine is, but he gave me an A+, so I like him.
A+? Okay.
Yeah. All right, so yeah, we've got the answer in. But, all right, well, move on to the next one. Oh, so Dad wanted me to tell you that we've got a couple copies of this book that we're going to be putting up on the website, Intruder Essentials by Jay Nichols. And the cool thing about this book is every fly that's tied in the book is on a Nor-vise. So either, I think he uses the tube fly or the fine point jaw I saw in there.
Mm-hmm.
So they'll be up on the website in the next couple days to be able to purchase from us. If you want to get more into tube flies for intruders and everything of that sort, that's the book to do it. And it shows you step by step how to do it on a Nor-vise.
Yeah, and who wrote that book?
Jay Nichols.
How about Jay Nicholas?
Jay Nicholas. Ooh,
yeah.
two different book guys.
How about Jay Nicholas?
Two different book guys.
So it's a great book. It's an easy read, and there's a bunch of different variations of the intruder, and we've been trying to get them for a little while, and it took a bit to get them in. So we bought, I think, 20 of them. We're going to have them up on the website here soon, hopefully by this week. And it's like $20, so it's a great thing to add to your library. Not just because it's on Norvise, but because it's it's a great book to have. So hopefully we'll have those up by the end of the week.
Sean had this made for us, and he was asking where it was. So
yeah,
I figured I'd get it, and I would show it real quick. And
I haven't had a chance to hang it up yet. I still don't know where I'm going to put it.
Been too busy catching fish.
Yeah, fishing, yeah.
All right, I'll get into the next fly. So the next fly is Schultz's Finesse Swinging D. It's the smallest one in the Swinging D family. This one comes in at 4.5, 5 inches. So, and it's one of my favorite flies to fish. They're cool to tie, they're cool to fish. So we're going to start out again. 15 millimeter shank. I got blue marker all over your shank jaws. That matches your vise now. Damn. What?
Blue marker on my shank jaws.
Should probably switch to that there small camera.
I'm going to.
All right.
Relax, I got this.
Still not on the small camera.
Did you hang your stained glass yet? No, Jody, I haven't figured out where I want to put that either. There was... We've been toying around with rearranging this whole room, and I'm not sure where everything's going to go yet, so I haven't hung anything because I don't want to hang it and then have to move it again.
First thing, lay down a thread base. Go back to the back of the shank, and to start, I'm going to be using Olive Chocolate's Filler Flash. If I had Olive Polymer Chenille, I would prefer to use it. It's kind of easier to manage than the Filler Flash is. But I'm going to do the same thing with that I did with the Polymer Chenille, where I'm going to go and leave some hanging out of the bag and just tie it on.
Somebody asked, what bobbin are you using?
Norvise Auto Bobbin.
Can you show how it works?
So the auto bobbin automatically retracts, so I can go and I can be anywhere on here and I don't have to wind it up by hand. And it's a real integral part of the Norvise fly tying system. So it lets us do a lot of the things on and off the cradle and doing all the rotations of the vise and everything else without having to wind everything back up by hand. It'll also stay where I put it when I'm not using it, but if I want to bring it up more, it'll go. I'm good to go. So, olive filler flash. And they were using some olive and orange Klausers yesterday and doing really well. So I figured olive and orange swinging D would be a cool fly to tie.
The olive and orange Klauser was smoking it yesterday.
And then Dad's just going to go and throw a white Viking midge the entire time. Anyway, and be done with it.
I like white.
Oh, thread broke. That is the second time today this thread is broke with this bobbin.
I don't have any problem when I use it. And Ed lost all of Brian Shoemaker's orange and olive Klausers.
I heard they weren't tied right anyway, so it's not that big of a deal that Ed lost them. So that's just what I heard. I don't know where Brian learned how to tie a Klauser, but
yeah, you're gonna get your ass in trouble now.
I'm already in trouble. I figure I might as well embrace it. Alright, so that is tied in. I'll do a half hitch. And then I will, again, I'm going to try and stroke the fibers on this back. And
he said zip it. Yeah, Tyler, Tim never breaks his thread on the live.
Be careful, Brian. You're going to break your thread on the next one.
Oh, my God. This is so funny. This is the best thing that's happened all day.
Not the best all weekend?
Not the best. No, today. I've been writing checks all day and stuff.
I've been making fine point jaws.
This is fun.
So, do about 3 wraps. And then I'm going to come in here with the bobbin and pick it out because it gets trapped pretty bad. Just because it is so unruly when you're trying to wrap it. And I'll pull it back and I'll wrap over top of it. So now I want 2. You can use schlappen feathers, you can use hackle feathers. I'm going to take 2 off of the this whiting American rooster cape that I've got here. You want 2 about the same size. They're going to be on either side of that little support ball that we made right there with our filler flash. So I want about 3 inches or so coming off the back of this. With the shank jaws, it's just about to where the, not quite all the way to the hub, so you can use that as a reference point. And I'll go and strip the feathers off, the fibers off down below, and then do my second one to match. And then I'll tie one on either side of the fly. And they never lay perfectly straight or perfectly flat. I'll trim the ends of them off. What, did the comment section calm down, or are you typing something?
No, there's nothing, nothing new. Just people talking about how good the bobbin is and how it's the only bobbin worth owning and that kind of stuff.
So, for this color pattern, I'm going to use a little bit of Flashaboo for the tail, and it's Flashaboo number 6943. So it's a orange and gold and green and perch color, really. I'll take maybe 8 or 10 strands of it. Split it in half and loop it around the thread.
Patrick Robinson said, "Don't wake the sleeping bear, Tyler."
Who's the sleeping bear?
Either me or Shoemaker. I'm not sure which one he's talking about.
Yeah, well, you don't do much sleeping as far as the bear part goes.
No, I don't sleep much.
So, and I'll split it down and tie it on either side. So that'll be my tail right there, the hackle and that flash. I'll take my little hair clip and clip it to the shank jaw, keep it out of the way, because that flash likes to try and grab the hen that I'm going to use on the next step. So, next step.
Oh, me. He's Ed Hayes said it was him. He's the sleeping bear.
Yeah. So, Ed, how'd you do net and fish yesterday? Any better than the last time we were fishing together?
He did great. He netted all my big ones.
He didn't dump any of your big fish out?
No.
No. Wow. Maybe he's been practicing or something.
He said you didn't need pictures of that fish, so he just got rid of it.
Okay. I will keep that in mind. Yeah. We'll be floating down the Susquehanna in June. It'll be, you don't need pictures of that 18-incher.
At least it wasn't like Braden trying to net my fish. Looked like Paul Bunyan, the lumberjack, knocking him off with a net.
Looked at you. Was that my fault?
My fault? Like, it surely wasn't mine.
That's all right. He redeemed himself on my next one.
On yours, yeah.
Well, that was the important one.
All I wanted was a picture. I didn't see a big steelhead, did you, Ed? That was Patrick.
Patrick's the one that said he flopped him out of the net.
He did, I know he did. He did. Patrick said he flopped him out of the net.
So I'm going to hold this up.
Much better. Ed said much better. They didn't slip through the big hole in the net. I think it might have been the same net.
I mean, there's a 50-50 shot.
Yeah.
We've got 2 of that net. So I'm going to try and pinch these so they're angled back. It'll make, when I wrap it with the vise, easier. And the first one I like to do by hand, just because it likes to twist and try and get unruly on you. Then after that, she's still trying to twist. There we go. Yeah, I guess Dee's watching. She just got another lesson for the shimmering minnow.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I taught last time.
Yeah.
There we go.
Is that the one she got the hook in her hand?
Yes.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah. I wasn't going to say anything, but
it just kind of dawned on me.
And I'll wrap that feather all the way up. Come off of my cradle and tie it in. Angle everything back a little bit. Make a little head here. And then you can get a small mallard flank for the top of it.
Do you brush that hen out at all, or do you just leave it on there like that?
You can brush it out. You brush it out, it looks better for stuff like this. From a fishing perspective, it doesn't make that much of a difference. And I hit the camera. So, a lot of times I don't really think the mallard makes that much of a difference. But this is a little different olive color than what I'm using, so it adds a little bit more, I think, depth to the fly. And I'm just going to tint that over the top here. Clip that off a little more.
another bobbin question.
All right, build a little head.
Oh,
and
I'll wait till you're done.
Yeah, and I'll whip finish. And tie that off. Yes, absolutely. So if you snap the thread, it will suck it back down in. So without a doubt, you'll first couple times you tie with it, you'll cut the thread off and it'll suck it back down in, and you'll say some bad words, and then you'll get better with palming or holding on to the spool so it can't get sucked down, and you'll do really good, and then you'll go and you'll put it down on your tying bench and it'll suck back in, and you'll say some more bad words, and then after a couple times of messing up and a lot of bad words, you'll get the hang of it and you'll be good to go.
And then show them what we do when we're not using the bobbin.
So when we're not using it, I'll either wrap it on my thread post.
Here, hold on. I'll go back to the camera. There you go.
So I'll take it, and I've got like a rubber grommet right here on the side facing me, and I'll go and I'll do one around, and it'll go and it'll hang there if I'm tying the same fly with the D. It'll hang there if I'm tying the same fly, or if I'm in between steps on a fly, I can do that. Or if I'm done using this bobbin and I'm going to another one, I'll put the little red cap that we have on it. You can go back to the other camera. And that'll go and that'll keep it from sucking back up. Alright. So I'm going to do next hook, well, the actual hook, is a...
Do you trim that flash or do you leave it that long?
I leave it that long. It's a little bit past the hackle, and that's going to swim like crazy. So the hook is going to be a size 1/0 TP610. Yeah, you got to back up a little bit. There we go. So Mike uses it's a Gamakatsu worm hook. I've started using a lot of Arex stuff. I really like it. I think it does this fly very well, and you don't have to worry about getting a specialty hook for it, because most premier fly shops have Arex hooks, and they have a lot of TP610s in stock at this point.
What other hook could you use besides that TP610?
That's the only one I've really used. You could probably use a bigger B10S.
Okay.
So probably a 1/0 or a 2/0 B10S. The issue with it, and I'll show you here real quick, is you have to have one that's long enough and has a big enough hook gap to be able to accommodate that head, which is going to be sticking out halfway out the bottom here. So you want to be able to make sure that you can still get in there and hook the fish that you're catching with that head on it.
Oh, this is actually a good comment. Dee said, tell them about other things you can do with the pink cap.
Like that? Oh.
No.
Yeah. You can do that.
There you go.
And what that does is that prevents Nor-vise boot camp surgery.
It's actually a good idea. Terry Landry was tying tandems where, like a 9-3 or a Gray Ghost, where the trailer hook is the point is opposite the main hook, and he said he was sticking himself with them, and I said just put the pink cap over it, and some people commented, they're like, man, we never thought about that, but yeah, it's a simple thing.
So, all right, tie on. I'm going to put down a thread base. Alright. I'm going to do the connection the same way that I did on the shimmering minnow. So I'll go ahead and get it on my 25mm shank. I'll cut it about 2/3 of the way up.
Should people wear safety glasses when they're cutting that, do you think?
They should.
Okay.
Should also wear safety glasses when you're in the machine shop. And, well, so I tie this one, and Mike ties this one, and I do it the same way, on the side of the hook. So what it does is when it's kicking, it helps it kick a little bit more. So the last one we did it on top of the hook. This one I'm going to do it. I do it on the side closest to me because it's easier to tie it in than trying to manipulate it when it's on the other side of the hook.
Wait a minute. The shank is on the side of the hook. It's not, I never knew that.
Yep.
I never knew that.
It helps it kick more.
Really?
Yep.
Huh.
It makes sense that it being off to one side would make it kick more. So
I never knew that. Oh, people love the idea with the pink cap. Apparently, there's a lot of people sticking themselves with hook points when they're tying. We did when I was at the shop and we were doing articulated flies. The first person in the class to stick themselves had to bring a case of beer for the rest of the class the next time.
And one thing I forgot to do that I will do real quick, I did not put any bone dry on the head of the tail section. If you're going to take 20 minutes or a half hour and tie an articulated fly, make sure you've got head cement or bone dry on all of the segments of it. And I'll put the bone dry on the point of the cut shank at the same time, so I can do both.
Jody Severance says, Tyler, you sure are a good sport with all of this shit that you take.
I've been getting shit from half these people for years. Now it's just on Facebook. Alright. So,
good Lord, that's bright.
That's pretty secure. I'll go and spin the vise, lay a thread base down on top of it. I don't have to worry about the point of that cut shank anymore because I put the Solvarez on top of it. Alright. So now we're going to tie in filler flash again. If you've ever tied a feather game changer and you've done the filler flash hen, it's kind of that idea for the first part of this fly. For the part of the tail section and part of the body up here.
Alright, hold on. I'm going to go to the big camera for a second. Gentleman asked, how do you stop the vise from turning on the post, I think is what he's saying.
Okay.
So show how it locks and unlocks and all that. Alright, there you go.
Alright, so it locks every 90 degrees. So I will pull the rear hub out, go up, and I can lock it. So, or there's a ground rod that runs through the center of the vise, and we've got a tensioning screw here, and I can go and I can lock that down, and then it'll go and lock at any angle and hold it from spinning that I want. Alright, so the filler flash, again, I will try and kind of preen this back and try my best. And I do about 3 or 4 wraps. Till I'm about over top of the hook point or so, using this hook. I'll come off the bobbin cradle. 1, 2, 3. Pull everything back and do a couple in front, and then I will clip that off. And I'll pull it back, and I'll kind of wrap it back over top of it about an 1/8 inch or so. So my thread is like right in line with the hook point right now. And then wrapping back like that and wrapping tight flares it up a little bit, and that's going to be what my hen is going to rest on to keep the body a little bigger. So I started, pulled a feather from right around here on the hen cape, and I'm going to go down, I'm going to pull one from about the top third now. Tim has got the camera stuff down. Flawless transition.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I set it up so he has to click a button.
Absolutely.
So I will kind of pull the hen apart so it's sticking back like that. Make a little triangle there up at the top. And then I will tie that. Use that little triangle to tie it into the hook. again.
I don't think it's breaking. I think you're cutting it on that.
It's covered.
On that shank, or you hit the point of the hook.
I think your bobbin tube's got a nick in it.
It could be. And if it does, we can replace them.
That'll be $10. You can PayPal us.
I can PayPal me.
You can PayPal you. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'll get right on that.
Yeah, get to it.
Right on that.
Not sacrificing profits because you nicked your bobbin.
Brian Davenport, that's 3 times? Is it 3 times you break your thread?
Today, yes, 2 on this fly.
Oh, wow.
The white one didn't break at all.
Yeah, well, maybe there is a nick in that too.
Mm-hmm.
It's possible.
Good thing I got about 1,000 tubes over in the other room.
Mickey Harler, what type of switcher do you use for your cameras? We're using OBS. And it looks 1,000% better on our iMac until you run it up onto Facebook, and then it gets grainy because they compress everything.
Yeah, I've been looking into a way to stream simultaneously to YouTube because YouTube doesn't compress it nearly as much as Facebook does. It's a bit of a pain, but I'm going to see if I can get it so we can stream to Facebook and YouTube at the same time. That way, if you guys want to go over to YouTube and check it out and see the better quality, you can. Alright, so I've got the hen in, and I'm going to do the same thing. We're going to try and pull it so it's all facing backwards. It'll wrap easier that way. Except when it pulls out. Waiting for the comments.
I never pulled my hacker out on a live.
You sure?
Mm-hmm.
Because I've seen you do it.
Nope, never done it.
Nope, never.
Never done it.
Well, one of the benefits is all of these are recorded. So you sure?
Nope, never done it.
What do you want to bet?
They're all up on YouTube.
Yeah. If I can find one where you broke hackle, we'll buy the GoPros this week. I can take them turkey hunting instead of you fishing.
No. No.
Alright. So I do the first one by hand. Sometimes the first couple by hand, just to get it situated right. There we go.
He said, thanks for multiple streaming. Check out the A10 Mini by Black Magic Designs.
Oh, actual. So we don't use an actual camera switcher. We're using a software that switches in between the two.
Okay, I misunderstood what he was saying.
All right, so I'll wrap that feather down. We'll tie it off, and then at this point, I kind of want to get an idea where my head is going to be. So, one thing, this it's a size small Rainey's diver head. And the eye of this hook does not like to fit through here, so you got to push it a little bit. Alright, so that's pretty good. I've got plenty of room here. And the inside of these heads, there is a lot of room in there. So I'm not nearly as concerned about like crowding where the head's going to be as I would be on, say, like a double barrel popper head or something like that. Alright, back to our filler flash. And again, 3 or 4 wraps. So, and the cool thing is, I've used this material 3 different times throughout this fly. And because I've been pulling it out of the bag, I've had absolutely 0 waste. at all the entire time. I'm going to pull this back. I'm going to wrap it over top of itself until there's kind of it. You'll see like a bump there where it kind of gets thick where you're wrapping the one in front of the other. And that's where I'm going to want to tie my marabou in. So at this point, I want good marabou. So it's either going to be extra select or, like I mentioned earlier, the spay marabou from Nature Spirit. But it makes it so much easier to palmer marabou when you have good marabou.
What jaw is that you're using right now?
That is the large jaw, the Nor-vise large jaw. That's a good feather. Alright, and with the extra select marabou, you've got a really long stem on it. Where it gets thick, you really can't do anything with it for the purposes of what we're doing here. So I'll strip that down and I'll cut that off. And I'll start with a feather about like that.
Alright, so a couple of questions here. As far as the jaws go, any reasons or just preference that you're using the saltwater jaw, I guess is what he's saying?
I'm using a 1/0 hook. So anytime I'm using bigger than about a size 2 hook, I will switch out to the large jaws. It's got a 1/2 inch gripping diameter instead of 3/8, so it'll hold the hook better, and it'll hold more of the bend of the hook in it and get it kind of back and out of the way. So it's just overall, I think, more comfortable to use for larger hooks.
And they're a little bit longer, so when you're tying bigger flies, it gets it out from a little bit further from the front of the hub. And then another question, when you're using the articulated tail, do you find that you get multiple hits before a hookup?
No. When a fish commits to it, it's got a pretty big front hook. So smallmouth and most bass species will kind of key in on the head. So it's going to key in on the head. It's going to find that front hook. I'm not really worried about missing fish because I don't have a hook for the tail section on this fly. A lot of the 2-hook flies that I do use, you end up with the second hook somewhere where the second hook's not supposed to be. Like it'll swing around and like catch the fish in the eye or something like that, and it just makes it a pain when you go to unhook them. So most of the time I do not use 2 hooks for any fly. Unless I know I'm going after something where I may only have one opportunity and I don't just want it hooked. So I'll stroke the fibers back and I will cut the tip and I'll give myself another one of those little triangles I was talking about to tie in. We'll do a 1/2 hitch going to the bobbin cradle. Rotate the vise, and then I will lock it and pull everything back. So with marabou, when you're palmering it, you can't really wrap it multiple times like that because it's really unruly and it will start to trap itself. You'll get trapped fibers everywhere. Every couple times you need to come in with a bodkin and start to pick them out and make sure they're clear. And all in all, I will wrap about 2 inches or so of that stem of marabou around. So you can, if you've been following the different lives that we do, my dad did what's called the snot rocket a couple weeks ago. I guess it was a couple months ago at this point.
Yeah, it's been a little while ago.
And I believe you blended colors with it. So you can do the same thing with this. If I wanted to go and do an orange and yellow feather together, I could do that, and then I would only wrap 1 inch of each feather. So
don't you have one over there like that?
I've got a couple.
Okay.
So this one, I blended a black and a yellow feather together. And this one has a yellow and a chartreuse feather blended together. Alright, so I will come in off the bobbin cradle and I will tie this feather off. And then the important part about this feather is you're going to wrap back over the stem and protect the stem. And kind of wrap back until you hit that filler flash, and that's going to support the marabou and make it stick out a little bit. You can kind of see how it's sticking up and out right now. And I'll come in and I'll trim that end of that feather off. And then I'm going to take some orange filler flash. And that's just, I've got the orange head, I figured I'd stick with that. And this stuff is really kinked up. I don't think I've had filler flash that's been straight yet. Braden got a pack of white filler flash that everything was straight, and he was so excited he was sending me pictures of it. And then this, once I get all the marabou and everything out of the way, I wrap this section fairly quickly. Because what this really is this is something for the glue for the head to grab onto. And I will wrap that all the way up to the eye hook. Come off the bobbin cradle and tie it off. I'll pick some of the fibers out. Then I will pull everything back and I'm going to wrap back over it. I will tie it off.
Could you put a rattle in this?
You could. So I can't find our rattles. Normally I would put a rattle in it. I can't find them anywhere.
They're probably at your house.
No, because I tied the new snakehead fly here and used a rattle on it, and so did you, but I don't know where they went. You now have real fake jungle cock eyes in the rattle spot. So...
Because I cleaned up today.
Cleaned up, put it in the wrong spot. So to secure the eyes, gel Loctite, to secure the foam head, I'm going to pinch it, put some on the top, some on the bottom, and you've got about one shot to do this. So I'll get everything up and straight, I'll push the head on, and I will lean to the side and make sure that it is straight and in line with the hook. It is, and we're good to go. And that's set.
Whammo!
There you go.
Here, I'll go to the other one. There you go.
So, there we go. It's a, I don't know, with sunfish or perch or whatever colored swinging D. They were doing good on olive and orange, so tied some in olive and orange. I've got chartreuse where I've added a little bit of yellow to it just to go and give it a little bit more depth.
I like that one.
I think this one's cool, the black and yellow one.
I won't fish that one. You know why?
Why?
Because that's the colors of the Pittsburgh Penguins and I refuse to fish it.
We've got too many friends out in that area.
I understand we have friends, but I ain't fishing it.
When's the last time you watched hockey?
It's been a while.
Okay, So, anybody have any questions? Do you guys put stinger hooks on those flies? No. Are we allowed to? Yes. Do I? No. Especially when it comes to smallmouth or I fish these for pike, pickerel, and largemouth. The second hook tends to get in the way. So it either does more damage to the fish or it does more damage to my hand when I'm trying to take the hook out of the fish. And I don't want either of those. if I was going after muskie, where I may get one hit throughout the course of the day, I'll put 5 hooks in it if they'll bang. What? Oh. I guess I'm talking about our sponsor again. Dad's trying to mouth it to me over there. So this episode and the giveaway is brought to you by Susquehanna River Guides, who's Brian Shoemaker, who I guess I butchered his fly because I only got a C+. If you want to get in contact with him, susqriverguides.com. He's Susquehanna River Guides on Facebook and Instagram, and his phone number is 717-574-5338.
The premier guide service.
Yeah.
For Susquehanna River bass.
He's been on the Susquehanna and the Juniata rivers and their tributaries fishing for smallmouth for the last 30 years. So we're lucky that when he gets an open day, we get a phone call like, hey, you guys want to fish?
By God, we're doing it. You did a great job tonight. That's from Colin Callback.
Okay.
Nice job, Tyler. We will let you do another live.
We'll let you. Yeah. Brian, you've only done one.
That's not wrong. That is not wrong.
We will let you do another from the guy that only did one. Yeah. All right.
He did a good one.
He did. He did a good one.
He did a really good one. Very nice on both. A little fireman analogy.
When they stop
giving you shit, you need to worry. Yeah, okay.
So, that. Larry, you'll love this. And you heard a little bit of the story about Ed dumping my fish out of the net. I had to go for a little bit of a walk after the fish came back out of the net. And I came down and was talking to Bo Beasley. And I told Bo, I'm like, you know what? It's not really the end of the world. Because I'll have more fun giving Ed shit for dumping my fish out of the net than I will have if he had actually got it and we had taken pictures. And Bo looked at me and he goes, you'd have made a good fireman. Yeah.
Alright, good job, guys. Good job. So, any questions? We'll hang out here for a little bit, and then we're going to cut it off. Is The Walking Dead on tonight?
I don't know. I haven't watched it.
It hasn't been on for the past couple weeks. I've been mad.
Trying to make sure you get off before The Walking Dead.
Oh, it's on DVR. I mean, but I get all set and I'm ready to watch it, and then it's not on. I'm like,
okay, then you can go watch your cartoon.
Yeah, I know. Star Wars Rebels. I gotta get back on that.
I'm missing a fly.
What fly?
Well, I tied 3 of these today, and I could only find 2 of them. There it is. Yeah. Need to tie some tan ones, need to tie some white ones.
Thanks, always interesting.
Thank you.
Alright, guys, we're going to sign off. If you... Terry Landry... Oh, yeah. Good call. I totally forgot. Terry Landry will be on next week from up in Canada. He's the winner of our March Madness. All of the March Madness prizes are going to go out this week. And Terry says he is
tying salmon bugs and bombers.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I need to watch that one.
Yeah. So yeah, check that out.
Patrick.
Terry. Not bad, Tyler. Solid C+ on your performance.
He copied that from Shoemaker.
Yeah. So yeah, Terry Landry next week. That'll be a good show. Terry's a phenomenal tire.
He's all right.
Looking forward to seeing that, Terry Landry. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited for that one.
Yeah, that'll be good. I like bombers are cool. I've never tied one. I've watched a lot of people tie them. It's just, I mean, we don't fish them, so we don't tie them, but. That's a cool pattern. So, all right, guys, we're going to sign off. If you have any questions or anything, we'll go back through and answer the questions. This video will be up on our YouTube page tomorrow by about noontime, maybe 3 o'clock in the afternoon, so you can go back and rewatch it. Oh, she's talking about Terry. It's Terry's wife, and she said he's good looking, and I thought they were talking about you until I saw who made the comment.
Why can't she be talking about me?
Well,
I'm not bad looking.
I do make good looking kids. That's
Yeah. Guess so. I took after my mom.
Yeah, your mom. All right, guys, we're going to hop off here. If you need anything, give us a shout, Tim or Tyler at nor-vise.com, or give us a call here in the office. But we're going to sign off, and we'll see you next week. Have a good week.
Terry goes, I paid her for
I
that.
paid her for that, yeah. Oh, she said, okay, you're good looking too.